Friends, in this one, let's do the following. Print some array entries backwards. So let's make an array. Integer, brackets to make an array data type. Okay, give it a name. We'll call it A for the sake of simplicity. Put the initializer in, assign the initializer, create the array. So say -5, 7, and 8. Terminate with a semicolon. Our array is done. -5, 7, 8. So how do we do that? We can think about a for loop. So you can say for, and then int I. So where did we begin? Well, the 8 is at index 2. The indexes go 0, 1, 2. Since 8 is at index 2, you're going to put int I equals 2. You have to initialize I to have the value 2, the highest index. Then you can do I, and then you're going to go from 2 to 1, and then from 1 to 0. So on each turn of the loop, you're going to decrease the index by 1, and you're going to go to the lowest possible index value of 0, which is where the -5 is stored. So for that reason, you're going to put greater than or equal to 0 for now. And then again, because you're going to decrease the values of the index, you're going to do I minus minus. So you need to make the header this way. Then you can just print the values using array access. So console.write line, and then A of I within brackets. So remember, at runtime, I will stand for 2. It's going to get the 8. When I is 1, it's going to get the 7. When I is 0, it's going to get the -5. Let's print this quickly. So debug, start with that debugging, Control F5. All right, so we have 8, 7, -5. Perfect. That's working as expected. It's just the values are in a column, not in a list. That's not important here. Let's just walk through this. So debug, flip into F11. Give it a second here. The surface. Okay, so let's see. Initialize the array. Now if you put your mouse over A, as you can see, it has 3 values. Int 3, that means the length is 3. At 0, we have -5. At 1, we have 7. And at index 2, we have 8. So the 0, the 1, and 2 are the indexes, and the values in the column on the right are the actual values stored at each index. Okay. So first, I equals 2 runs. Now you check the condition in the middle, which is true because I is 2. So 2 is greater than 0 is true. Then you're going to execute console.write line. Then you go to I minus minus. Then you check the logical condition. Again, I right now is 1. Well, 1 is greater than or equal to 0 is true by greater than. Okay, run console.write line, I minus minus, put your mouse over I, you see I right now is 0, okay? So then you're going to go to console.write line, I minus minus, put your mouse over I right now is -1. -1 is not greater than or equal to 0. So that means, look what happens, you're just going to hit the closing curly brace on line 10. That basically defines the body of the main method here. And then you can shut it down, just hit that brown button across the top, stop debugging, Shift F5. And that's it, the program has been executed. Now the issue here is if I change the 8, for example, to a 9 by adding one more entry here, at the end that is, or a 10, or whatever, -89. Now I have to come back here and let's see, this part is the same, that doesn't change, but I have to recode int I equals 2. Very likely we don't want to do that, we have to recode. So we want this step of here to be automatic. So whenever I, for example, add or remove entries, I don't have to worry about changing any indexes. We don't want them hard-coded for that reason. You see, hard coding makes you code rigid, so to speak, and flexible, and it has to be adjusted in multiple places sometimes. For that reason, we don't want that. So what we will say instead is the following: a.length. Now think about this, remember, right? The length of this array, where there are 4 entries, which means that the length is 4, but the indexes are 0, 1, 2, 3. That means that the highest index is 3. That means you cannot type int I rather equals a.length, because that would be a value of 4. There's no entry at index 4. Index 4 doesn't exist. The highest one is 3. So for that reason, you can do this, but you have to type a.length minus 1, you see? Now let's see what happens. So run this. Start with that debugging, Control F5. Just want it to execute, and you see it automatically executes the list. Prints that is -89, 87, -5. So it works nicely. Shut this down, shut this down. I'll see you in another video. Please leave a like.